All right, ladies and gentlemen, we should be live right now. Let me check. And I hope you're ready for another hour of productivity as we start working on some formatting while I also hope and attempt to talk a little bit about westerns because I watched Dark Valley last night, a western that I intended to look at for a very long time. As for what I'm working on, as some of you might know, I have a Kickstarter coming up. I think the link should be in the description, which is Journey to Elysium, which is for our new comic series. And why do I have that twice? Yeah, it's gonna have a hardcover special edition of or book. Oh wait, I think I might know why I've done that. Actually, there we go. I might know why I've done that. There we go. So anyway, and for that, um, so yeah, Kickstarter, Journey to Elysium. That is what I'm working on. This is in preparation of that. And I want to switch to Ingram Sparks. Currently, I'm publishing everything on Amazon, and that is where I get my print on demand stuff. But I am not that happy with it. Um, Amazon, for first of all, my biggest complaint with Amazon is that they send all their stuff in very shitty boxes. So when I order, let's say, 20 books, it's not uncommon that I have to send back 25%, so 5 books, because they got damaged in some way or another. And remember, I've got to sell them. So, yeah, I'm now, fortunately, they have a very simple return system. So that's not the issue. But yeah, it's very very annoying. Um, so now I am formatting my books for Ingram Sparks. Of course, they do things a little bit differently, so the formatting is different, and that is what I'm showing you to now. Now, I'm gonna format these particular books because they're already that size on Amazon, which is, let's go to document setup, um, is 5.5 and 8.5. Now, for those who are paying attention, you'd say, hey, wait a minute, but those don't say 5.5 and 8.5. These are larger. And that is correct because, hello, Riches. This is the bleed, which is 1.25 inches at every side. So 2.5 if you count all the sides. And there is no industry standard for bleed, which is wonderful. Because, for example, in my naive mind, when you go to adjust layout here, you've got bleed options. Except there is no industry standard for how treat is bleeded. Now, furthermore, when most people upload their novels, they just print to PDF. So you've got your Word document, you do print to PDF, and there you go. You've got your PDF ready for uploading to Amazon. Excuse me. Or Ingram Sparks, for that matter. So there are no bleed options, no such things. And it doesn't really matter in those particular cases because there are no few or little graphical images to take into account, and everything else can be fixed in Amazon during the submission process, so to speak. It's a bit more complicated than that, but I'm not going to bore you with that. So usually people, the most authors who publish on places like Amazon do not have to do anything with bleed. That's the point that I wanted to get across. Um, So that is perfectly fine. Um, However, when you do stuff like I do, like what I do here, I don't have to do. This is all my fucking weaponized autism at work. Um, Jesus, these margins are broad. But I'm gonna use those. I think that's fine. So I'm working, by the way, right now. I'm working in InDesign. If you are doing anything more complicated than Word documents, I highly recommend it. There are free alternatives, but I happen to use one of those free alternatives, and yeah, once you go InDesign, you're not gonna go back. Let's just put it this way. So, yeah, these books are the companion books for the Association of Ishtar. This is the Arcology Companion, so if you've got Bound for the Sticks but not the companion, I highly recommend that you do. These are the short stories. How I work is that first I write the short stories, and afterwards I write the bigger books based on those short stories. And there is no grand plan here. I just write stories with ideas that I find interesting, and eventually I start work on the bigger books, and it's like, oh, I can combine that with that idea, and that's how Igraine came to be. Originally, she was a short story that is in 321's notebook, and some people actually prefer to start with the short stories because when I'm on an event, I tell them my whole work process and how I work, and then they're like, well, can I not then start with the short stories? And I say, yes, you absolutely can. Just know that they're not your traditional low concept fantasy stories with a middle, beginning, and end. They are administrative files. That's why I can shape them like this, because they're in-universe documents, essentially. That's the idea. That's why they look the way they do. So, yeah. But yeah, this is gonna be the Ingram Sparks version of that. It shouldn't be very different, but different enough that it needs to be reformatted. And also, there is something off with how with the previous versions, which I do not fully understand. But I'm gonna ignore that because the prints I've seen so far are correct. So maybe Amazon has something different from Ingram Sparks I am currently oblivious of. But yeah, that is what I'll be doing. And yeah, if you enjoy it, please buy it. It's available already on Amazon, or you should get it on my own web store. And we've currently got two. We've got 321's Notebook and the Arcology Companion. 321's Notebook is not really essential reading. Because, why is that? That is because the stories that are in 321's Notebook are already in, how do you say, are already in the novel. But 321's Notebook is how you want to read them. The Arcology Companion, on the other hand, no, the stories are not included in the book. So you do want to get the Arcology Companion and read the mystery that is behind all the things that appear in that book. And I had very fun reactions of people who read it that way. They started with the book, then they read Arcology Companion, and then they realized the genuine horrors behind everything that appears in that book. Essentially, that's the idea. So, Now, I wasn't sure how people were going to react to these short stories. The whole reason that I wrote The Wrench in the Machine was because the publishers were afraid that readers would be discouraged by the format of the stories. So that's the story behind that. But the whole series, and this is why I continually advise people to start writing with short stories. I do this in my last video as well. It's not only just the experience. You can submit stories like that to anthologies that I have done. Like with the Stygian Society, which is for sale right now. They had a successful Kickstarter. And it includes one of my stories as well. A matter of fact, it's kind of like a story I've written as an introduction to the Association of Ishtar. And that brings me to another subject, I suppose. While I am fixing this, I want you to know kind of like what this looks like and what you can expect if you want to do projects like this as well. And, a lot of writers don't think beyond I'm gonna write a book, and that is fine, but realize that this is also, unless you have a publisher, then the publisher will all do it, and then you hope they do a better job than you could. But I've seen what some publishers do, and I'm like, no, I can do that better, and I've proven that. Like I've spoken to publishers, they never even touched InDesign. So, yeah. Realize that, like, unless you're with a really big publisher, a lot of them, they don't know as much as you can learn all by yourself. How old is the association? In universe or as a series, Riches? As a series, I started writing in 2019, I think. Somewhere around that. But the first books got published in 2021, I think. Yeah, I think so. So yeah. In universe, I'm not sure. Like, I have not really made a canon for the association's history as of yet. And that also kind of brings me to how the city is written overall. Somebody is currently working on a submission for the Association of Ishtar. Now, before I continue, I have to say that this was a story that was like a quick draft, like literally quick, as in in universe. Yeah, I don't really have a canon for that. Like as the name implies, the association draws its own history all the way back to the Mesopotamian era. But as of what is known of the association is one theory in universe theory about the origins of the association, that it was created in the wake of the Napoleonic Wars as a agency that was trying to figure out what Napoleon was up to and his relationships to the Rift. So that's an in-universe thing that's going on. So it's let's say it's 1815. Napoleon was banished. So Napoleonic War. So let's say it's if that theory is correct, it exists somewhere around 1807. Maybe it could also have started right after the French Revolution. But that would be a very different association than how the association is in 1870. The 1870 association is far more bureaucratic. The original idea behind the association was that it was kind of like a joke version of the SCP. That was the original take I had for the series. They were the SCP Foundation that doesn't know what it's doing. That was the idea. So they would do a lot of irresponsible stuff. Ironically, that kind of led into the plot of The Wrench in the Machine, which is about one of the consequences of that early approach that the association took. So, yeah. But yeah, so in that case, in that hypothetical situation, the association is a kind of like a rogue organization that started off as part of the Triple Alliance Secret Service-esque thing, specialized in investigating the anomalies that started appearing, or at least where Napoleon got his technological innovations from, which is also the Rifts. However, I also started writing short stories, and they should be on Ream Stories. So if you want to read my short stories for free, go to Ream Stories. What is it? Dash Bonsert. I think it is. Let me check. I think, yeah, Bonsert. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna post it in the chat. And please start following it. You can actually read short stories without becoming a follower there. But of course, I would prefer you would to increase my clout on the platform. It's kind of an alternative to Patreon. But your words are infinite, am I correct? With countless timelines. Well, the idea, I am not sure infinite. Possible, hypothetically infinite, but the idea of the series as a whole was that other writers could insert their steampunk concepts for worlds and stuff into the series. That was the reason why I chose a multiverse. It also allows me to experiment with other ideas, more steampunk concepts. Right now, I'm working on a short story. It's pretty much done, but it needs to be refined a little bit. That takes place in the future of the Association of Ishtar's own world. So I kind of can send it as a stand-alone story. So that's another benefit of my approach, that I can expand my universe in other magazines without, having to use the same characters, or having to rely on previous lore, and etc., etc., etc. So there's all these unintended benefits that I didn't even realize would be relevant. Oh, I see. Okay, you probably don't notice it, but there is a sensor thing here. And I have no idea where that thing belongs, or if that's supposed to be there at all. Oh. Let me see. This is the, by the way, if you want to have the story behind Radio Retro Future and what it does in this multiverse, this is actually the story. And actually here, it mentions Napoleon's defeat. I just saw, but what did I intend to censor here? Oh, dearie me. Well, let's see. So, yeah, but here, let's see, what year is this? But yeah, I am leaving as much as I can open, so I can expand upon that on a later time. So I'm not pinning myself to certain statements or facts or... Okay, I now see what happened. Okay. God damn it. Now it's gone entirely. Undo, resize, redo, scaling, Control Shift sets. I'm not sure I was supposed to censor anything on this page. See that? It's gone entirely now. Alright. I'll check it out later. In that case. There we go. Sorry for that. But yeah, to answer your question bluntly, in hypothetically it's infinite worlds, but it's really gonna depend on how many people start to submit and all that stuff. So let me think. There should be a button here. There should be like an anchor symbol somewhere over there to... No, I want to... Yeah, okay, so... Ah! This is so annoying. There we go. Can I just move? No. God damn it, I just want to move you. No. The red line is bad. I don't want the red line. There we go. Finally, okay. Now I hope I can just move this. God damn it, I want to... How do I untangle that? Because now I apparently attached... Okay. This is... Okay, this is good. Good. Stay that way. And they also changed some of the letter combinations because of course they did. There we go. All right. Anyway, where I was going with that story is that currently I'm dealing with a submission by somebody. And you know, one of the things is that I have a problem communicating how people can make submissions at the moment. I mean, it sounds really easy, right? But I have a particular view for the series and what I believe makes it work. But those methods of writing and working are so natural, you know, to me. I've got a friend who is kind of like a technical savant, especially when it comes to carpentry. So he makes a lot of designs, and you know, he does exactly what he's doing. He knows how he's doing it. So you know, it's all this he all develops that in his mind. So he never puts his ideas to paper or anything. So sometimes he starts designing stuff that works, and then other people want to replicate, and he has to draw it all out. And that's kind of my problem that I currently have with... Like, I want other people to write stories for the series, but I have a very particular way of writing. A very particular way of doing high concept. You know, it's what makes the association of Ishtar unique, and why it's so hard to define, right? Ah, there we go. Just looking for something that I needed to censor here. But yeah, you're getting a bit of a look of how the sausage is made. But yeah, when you want to be a writer, expect a lot of production work. You gotta have to do a lot of production work. This is it. So in a manner of speaking, the association was supposed to be founded 1,000 years ago on Earth. That was still in the Napoleonic era. No, well, I mean, I guess it's possible, but no. The timeline up to the Napoleonic Wars is pretty much as we know it. Of course, there are liberties you can take. Of course, there are. But for the feel of the series, and for what I want to do with it, which is explore alternate histories with sci-fi elements. Basically, I've taken our history and started adding. God damn it! This is so goddamn annoying. And added sci-fi in it. You know, kind of. What if all the conspiracies about, well, not necessarily ancient aliens are true? But also, what could other timelines be like? And, also, but more importantly, what happens if all those futuristic technologies start pouring into the world? And then with futuristic technologies, I mean technologies as we know them. So I want to do a lot with drones. That they have like a secret project that involves a lot of drones. Like suicide drones. Well, kind of like how they use them in Ukraine. And this is a world that has already seen all that on other more futuristic worlds than their own. This is also why I want the world of the Association of Ishtar to be grounded, so all the other worlds actually feel alien, and not like, oh, it's another fantasy world, but now they're Aztecs instead of steam-powered Victorians, or So I want that the future feels like the future to them, and not like another fantasy setting, which is the problem with so many settings overall these days, They want to have stories about the everyman, but the problem is that the everyman already looks like they're like frigging anime. And that's why the alternate history angle is so important. It's also why I have so many restraints on the aesthetics of the series, that everything should have like a very historical feel. Of course, can be some experimentation with fashion, but it needs to be there for a reason. And now everything looks like, especially on the convention scene, like this is one of the big problems, and especially with the AI art. It all looks like steampunk cosplay. It doesn't even feel like actual steampunk anymore. For me, steampunk isn't cosplay. Cosplay is when you intimidate somebody else, known characters, but everyone now just mimics one another. It's so refreshing when I see an actual Victorian costume and not, brown guff. What is the case with that much convention costumes? It does not have many story abilities, that's the problem. I'm currently experimenting with demonic AI But drones are cool too. As in, you mean in a story that the AI is demonic? Like literally from Satan. I heard an interesting take on that concept recently. It should be in the Stygian collection, which is about an AI that makes an actual ChatGPT-esque AI makes a deal with the devil, makes a Faustian deal with the devil, and of course, then the big question is, what does an AI want? Because AIs don't want anything. They are information in, information out. Input in, information out. And that's one of the a lot of the big problem with the concept of AIs. That and a lot of misinformation, like, oh, this AI tried to murder his operator because it wouldn't let him do stuff that turned out to be fake. Just to name an example. Um, so that's kind of the thing. Because when it comes down to it, AI are not that sophisticated. It's going to be a long time before they. And the question is, like, how much do you want to develop AI? What do you want AIs to do? Because in the end, they are just really advanced Casio calculators. You know, I mean, in that regard, a Casio calculator is already AI. It just does one thing. It does that one thing very well. You don't need to improve on it because how fast do you want your Casio calculator to make a calculation, right? You know, unless you are talking about like high level algebra completions for I don't know trajectories, space trajectories or something. But you know, that's not what a Casio calculator is designed for, is it? It's a little hard to explain. It's set in my supernatural stuff. It's kind of technological. Yeah, so it's supernatural. So yeah, it doesn't have. It's hard to make rules for fantasy and stuff. I mean, I know people try to, but I don't know. My problem with magic overall is that for a lot of scenes, you gotta pretend it no longer exists. You know, kind of like the teleporters in Star Trek are a very good example of this, right? Where there is a problem, and oh, we need to get out of this situation. And, you know, they must make it dramatic, so then they start pretending that the teleporters all of a sudden do not exist, or they have to invent reasons why the teleporters cannot be used. So, yeah, that's the problem with a lot of stuff. When people start that's the problem when people start writing books out of nowhere before working out certain concepts in a short story, because then they've got like, oh, I've got this idea for this super powerful airship, and then it's like, well, you can't have any adventures with that airship because, well, it's so super powerful. There's nothing that can defeat it. And that kind of also brings me to the crux. Like I said, I've got a submission today. And it was speed written, so it was pretty good for something that was like done that quickly. But the problem is it's very character focused. It's like it should like demonstrate how awesome this character is, and the problem is that the Association of Ishtar is not about characters, or it's not about the Association of Ishtar. It's about the monsters. It's about the anomalies. So the associates, when it comes really down to it, are really a lot of ordinary people. They just have a particular mission. They have a particular code that they follow, and that is what makes them dangerous. It's not that they're powerful. It's the fact that they are in that sense, executioners. Which kind of brings me to a movie that I saw last night, which is The Dark Valley, which is a western set in the Austrian Alps. And it's amazing. It's an amazing film. It's German, so I watched it with subtitles. But man, was it a great film. And it's a revenge story too. It's about a young man who comes over from America, but his mother is from Austria. And during the course of the story, we learn how she fled the Dark Valley, so to speak, which is being controlled by a patriarch and his sons. And yeah, let's just say that the patriarch is a bit rapey. Let's put it that way. And for that and the guy is there to take revenge on him. And then we learn the story of how his mother escaped and why he's there to take revenge. And it's amazing, and we also see a little bit about how logging was done in that period, because it's a kind of like, well, a colony is maybe not the right word, but it's a logging settlement essentially. People came to live there during a big famine, so they the people who lived there either played nice with the leading family, or they could go look for food somewhere else. So yeah, amazing film. Probably has one of the best gunfights that I've seen in a western. I really, really loved it. And do I have anything else of importance to say about that? Not really. What am I gonna do with you? Am I gonna keep you there? It's a composition of 2 concept sketches. Actually, these 2 pages should be going together. I probably have a good reason. Yeah, I did. In the previous version, I separated these. What am I gonna do with you? Can I do this? I think I can. Can I? We're nearly done. Let's see. The inspiration came from to me from Warhammer 40k, Men of Iron to use. Normal people, they are just advanced robots, but to inhabitants, they are mythical entities capable of magic. Yeah. It's a very interesting concept, the Man of Iron, and what was it, the Man of Gold? There were 2 of them. None of them are explained, which is fine, by the way. I'm fine with it. I don't know. I know why this is cut in 2, but I don't see it anymore, so I'm gonna change that. There we go. Bam. I think... Yeah, bingo. There we go. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Is this okay, chat? What do you think? Is that acceptable? I want to include, yeah, Man of Stone based like Newman. Yeah, it's an old metaphor. Goes all the way back in in history. What is it? A head of gold, torso of bronze, and feet of clay, I think. Art is acceptable. Yeah, alright. But yeah, it's a very old metaphor. Oh. There we go. Is this in the middle then? Apparently it is. Oh. But yeah, thing is that the current story submission that I'm reviewing is very focused on how cool this particular associate is, and he has all this special stuff and special weapons and stuff, and I don't like it. It feels like a D&D character. It feels too powerful, and the monster that appears in the story is like generic tentacle thing. There's some nice descriptions there that elevates it above mediocrity, but yeah, so now I need to formulate, and that's kind of like where I was getting at when I start talking about, communicating my vision. When you realize that the thing I need to communicate is that this theory is not about the association; it's about the mysteries they come across, the problems they come across. It should be about problem solving, not about or mystery. The mystery can work when you write it from the perspective of an individual who comes across such a thing for the first time. Actually, I submitted a story to Iron Age magazine. I think it's on their website in the probably the July prompt. It's called "It Came from the Hold," and it's about a young boy who lives on a farm, and an airship crashes near him, a zeppelin, and at first he encounters a monster that came from the hold, but then he quickly comes across an associate, and the associate threatens him if he tells anyone of what he saw. Because that's what the associates aren't heroes. They are, well, they're at one sense adventurers, but they're at the other end they are trying to preserve order in some sense. That's gonna be a conflict at some point within the organization too. It will not be like full civil war, but like you've got the associates who seek to kind of prepare for the world that is going to come because of the rifts, and the other group that wants to prevent death completely from happening. So there are two things. I think a story about an associate who tries to poke around in the associate would be cool. Oh yeah, definitely. And there are. I've been working on some stories like that. As a matter of fact, I got one connected to the ancient history, but it's something that I'm gonna do over the course of several stories. I don't think writing a story that's about like, oh, and this is gonna be the definitive history of the association. I don't think that's helpful. I think it's gonna be done over the course of history. Like, I've got ideas for it, but even that is gonna be I don't know if it would be to the annoyance of his colleagues, but I think it would be. I don't know. I've got ideas about it, but each of them are all concepts into themselves. So it's gonna be like piece by piece. I'm gonna puzzle together the past. I don't think writing a history. I like this is the definitive history of the association is gonna be very interesting. And maybe those stories will then come together in a single book, like with what I've done with The Range in the Machine and Bound for the Sticks. That's probably how I'm gonna do that. But again, the association is not the most interesting aspect about their setting. They are merely the point of view character. I mean, most people now treat Igraine as the main character of the series, but she's one of the first characters that I completely fleshed out. And yeah, the life expectancy of a character actually actively investigating the association's history might not have a long life expectancy. So there is that. It's a good thing this one is a lot shorter than the previous one. 321's notebook was a bitch to edit to prepare for submission. God damn. But yeah. But yeah, so that's the thing. I need to like formulate feedback on this story, in which I have to explain that it's about the monsters and anomalies. That should be the focus of the stories. Otherwise, it just becomes, one superhero story after the other. I mean, the Shadow had the right idea where, each villain had a particular power, a particular strength, a particular way of operating that made it very hard for the Shadow and his henchmen to discover the truth about the situation. And yeah, and the wonderful thing about this is, like I said, I can combine and mix and max all these separate stories in the long run. Like I've got a particular I think that is what I blocked out. I think what I blocked out was this. That language over there. I can only imagine what a veteran associate might look like. An individual who has traveled the multiverse so much that he's gone completely insane. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. Yeah, well, there's also another problem that the association discovers quite late in their existence. And that is that rift travel causes cancer. Except they did not realize that at the start. So they've got all these operators that start dying of the disease. And yeah, they don't realize that's due to the rift travel. They do find a remedy for it. However, that remedy also has unexpected side effects. So, but yeah, the original associates who traveled that way have not become old. So yeah, that's something that is revealed in Bound for the Sticks, by the way. So, a little bit of a spoiler there. But it's a very important facet. That all the associates are taking a special stuff. But the associates who only operate on their own plane, there's probably more than enough screwed up stuff there. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I have ideas for associates that are like that, but they are very much like I don't know, kind of like Western characters in a way. The Civil War veterans. I think that's a good comparison. You know. So I want the associates to feel human, but still achieve exceptional things, but not exceptional things like, oh, we're D&D characters, but exceptional as in, well, real world exceptional people whose stories you hear and you're like, no, that can't be real. But then you discover that it is real. That's the kind of exceptional that I'm going for. You know, war refugees, for example, where you hear like stories like, holy shit, how did they live to survive all that? That type of deal. That is the kind of stories that I want to tell. You know, I'm currently writing a story set in that post-apocalyptic quote-unquote future of the setting, and that character is very much kind of like a Western gunslinger type. I mean, what he does is like incredible, but it's not impossible. That's the thing, you know. I don't want like associates non-stop fighting like superheroes where they've like basically used technology as normal weapons, you know. I wouldn't mind like some Snake Plissken-esque character. That's pretty cool. But the thing is that yeah, if you have too many, if you have got one, it sounds like an actual incredible character. But if you got like a few hundred of such people walking around, why do you even need an army? That was also one of the problems that I had with the story that he submitted, that he was fighting this monster alone, but it turned out there was like a complete group of airborne dragoons on standby, which are elite soldiers. So the guy was essentially, it supposes that the story that the guy was doing what a whole dragoon of the best soldiers in Europe could not do. And I don't want that shit. I don't want that stuff. But now I need to communicate that. And that is tougher than it looks. I mean, that's one of the benefits of writing fantasy. It doesn't matter because everyone, you can have weak characters, and you can have, a whole party of Conan the Barbarians. Like, I'm not interested in reading that, but I mean, it's surely easy to write because you don't need to think really. That's the thing. I want my stories to be about people solving problems. By the way, I like that faction who are trying to conquer arcology. Are you talking about the cyborgs? Let's see. Who are trying to quote unquote conquer technology? Arcology. What faction could you be referring to? The Babylon Project is trying to reach that world, but I do not understand it. Oh, or are you referring to that thread of factions that I once pinned down in the Discord? Oh man, there were a lot of them. I don't remember them all because I never used them in stories before. Let's see. The fascists. The fascists. I don't have fascists in my universe yet. To be more specific. Do I have fascists in my universe? I don't recall working on. I've tried to think about, but it's such an anachronistic concept to include fascists in that universe. So, do you have something more specific for me to go on? People are trying to conquer arcology. No, I'm kind of drawing a blank on who you mean. No, I'm drawing a blank on what faction you mean right now. Sorry. Like, was it one of the one that I posted in the Discord or on the blog? Yeah, I posted them in a blog eventually. So were they in a short story or were they just a blurb? In our college video, the mentioned the highly militaristic are trying to breach the center. Are you talking about the? Oh, they're not. Are they trying to bridge? Did I mention anyone who's trying to bridge the center? Are you talking about the guys guarding Fort Defiance? I mean, they don't really have an ideology. They're just military guys. Basically, I have not really. I have I did try writing some stories about that, but they're just military. Just basically soldiers who and warriors and all those types who only know the military life, only want to live that life. Or just basically just need that thrill, essentially. Need that purpose. But I would not call them fascist, but I use the actual Mussolini definition of fascist and not the, oh, these are people I don't like definition of fascism. Which, again, is a very hard thing to implement because it's such an anachronistic concept to the 19th century. especially if you know the origins of the fascist party in Italy. Then there are the factions that are called fascist, but all of them seem to be a much more national socialist. So what's he called? Mosley, for example. I'm not sure if he even calls himself fascist. Like, everyone calls him fascist, but he seems to be much more of a national socialist. A far bigger admirer of Hitler than of Mussolini. Like, a really big admirer of Hitler. Even when he was still in the Labour Party. That's one of the big problems that I see with a lot of people, like the people who call Heimlich fascist, for example, because he liked the military, but that's not what fascism is about. He was actually a staunch. Well, I don't know if he was a libertarian, but he was definitely libertarian slanted. His general leaning. I'm not sure if he was a fan of the libertarians, but that's definitely what he leaned to. He was definitely a pro-freedom guy. A matter of fact, the whole idea behind the anachrids was that they were a thing for a metaphor for collectivists. That includes the fascists. Oh, the MID. Yeah. That is one of the things I'm not sure exactly. Like, I've got ideas for them, but I'm not sure about the name MID, what to do with that. That's something I might retcon at some point. I did write some short stories that kind of describes the... and I actually have concept art for them as well. I know what they look like. A matter of fact, they already... one of them is already introduced, kinda, in the Wrench in the Machine. I'm not sure. That's actually a short story that I did not include in 321's notebook, even though it should be in there. Well, are the MID fascist? Well... Are they fascist? I don't know. I would need to, because I have explored their... I'm inclined to say no. Because they're internationalists. Their vision applies to all of humanity, whereas the fascists were only interested in the Italian people. So, I think I actually might have used like H.G. Wells and Shaw's ideas for the MID at the time, which is pretty insane dudes when it came to their political aspirations. But I'm not sure if any of their ideas would entirely apply Hey, I have a space over here. Let's see. This is for the sticks. I do want more art for the sticks. Hey, wait a minute. Oh! I might be able to include something there. And this is the sticks. This is just a matter of fact. I might almost say that a picture might be missing there. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Because I originally made art for the Stixians. That's right, I actually have made concept art for the series myself. To inspire illustrators like this is how I want it. Let's see, and it's here. Oh, there's no filter. What? Oh, I see now. It's I downloaded this version of the internet. Oh no! Oh god! Really? I cannot open it anymore. Let me see. Can I open you with this? I can. Can I? What happens if I do this? Then you're still the wrong type of file. Can I save you as? God damn it! Oh god! I hate. I used to have a program that could open WebP files. That's annoying. Let me see if I can find it. This is an older version, an older sketch. Oh, I know what I can do. Probably not great, but it can. It doesn't really matter. I think. I hope. Okay. How does this work again? I think this. There we go. Once I learned how to quickly make. There we go. Right. Does it matter? Can I save it as PNG? Okay, and on the other side, people are watching like, what the hell is he doing? Yeah, well, here it comes. There we go. This you should see. So, this is a concept that I made for the Styxian cultists. And still one of my favorite versions of that. And you say, well, it has all this white stuff around it. Yes. But, oh, look at it a little bit. Oh. There we go. I can actually, transparency. I don't know if you can see the transparency, but I'm gonna pretend that you do. Let me see. No. There we go. Multiply. I love the multiply filter. There we go. It might actually be a little bit too crisp. Yeah. Oh man, I recently I discovered Turnip 28, and that art, it's kind of very Jeroen Boss-like. Turnip 28. What a name for a fantasy war game. Turnip 28. But I do love that art, that very dreary, decayed style of drawing. Everything looks decaying and stuff and dirty and I cannot help but wonder, like, how does anything live in that world without dying? But hey. Alright. What does noise do? A little bit. A little bit. Okay, what do you think, team? Are you making a book? Yeah, kinda. Well, this book is already available on Amazon, but now I'm converting it for Ingram Sparks. So this is a little bit of a look behind the kitchen, how you can format a book using InDesign. And apparently I've been making mistakes during the copy-pasting process of several pages. But yeah, these are the companion books that I made for my novels. So for those who are just joining us, how I make my books is that first I write a bunch of short stories. And then I use those short stories as inspiration for the books. And that is what these companion books are. So, yeah. And these companion books are full color, completely illustrated. I use concept art for these ones because I love concept art. I love sketches. But I cannot use them for my regular books. But I can use them for this. Matter of fact, it probably, at least I think, that's more immersive. And I hope you agree. But yeah, it should be ready. Now I'm gonna try. I don't know if you can see this panel in which I'm working on right now. Arcology Companion. Spelled it wrong. Insta. No, not Ingram. Not Instagram. Ingram Sparks. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. This I can upload, hopefully. Let me think, though. Wait, is this number correct? I don't think it is. I think I need 2 more pages. Yeah, I need 2 more pages. God damn it. Either I need to remove 2 pages or I need to include 2 more pages. Because how books are printed in pages of 4. God damn it. Need to think. Alright. Well, we're already working for 19 minutes, so I'm gonna call it quits for tonight. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for keeping me company during this process. I hope it was educational to some degree. Yeah, so I need to remove 2 pages. I think that would be the best. I mean, add 2 pages. That would be the best. Well, I can make this one. Let me see. I can actually add. I'm gonna select this one. Edit. Type font object layout pages. Insert pages. 2. There we go. I enjoyed. Okay, great. Glad you enjoy these procrastination streams. People overall do seem to enjoy them. I'm getting some work done. I get to talk to you guys. You get to ask me questions about my work, about my world. I love talking about my world. That's kind of also why I'm a writer, I suppose. Yeah, and like I said, I'm working on submission rules so people can start submitting their own world ideas and get them included in the RPG, which we are working on. So yeah, you can get those included. What else? Yeah, I might have a very interesting conversation tomorrow. I hope that continues. In which case, I might start the process of partaking in a very interesting process that's gonna take a couple of years to complete. In other news, Anno is nearly done. A lot of cute art. Really looking forward to that. So we've got so many cute images of a doll, of a spy that we've been talking about. Hey, maybe we should have like a theme music for the spy doll. So I've been, and I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with it, but it's nice to think about. I do want to have more music for the series, especially. How do you say? Especially for making videos. I want to make more videos, but I keep feeling that I don't have enough art for it to really put it up where I want it to. So I'm thinking I might invest a little less in art for books and more for art for videos. And if that art also happens to be appropriate for books, I might do that. I might include it. I mean, so yeah, that is. And right now I'm looking for companion images because I think I made more art for it. So yeah. What else do I have to add to? God damn it! There you have that image that I was looking for. God damn. All right. But yeah. That's things that I'm thinking about. More art related to the videos that I want to make. Do I have this included in the book? I do have that included. I love this image. This is the black and white image, the concept one. This version has an Archaeopteryx also. This is a different one from in the book actually. In Bound for the Sticks, I mean, with that. But this is one of Johan's most beloved work, I think. The final version, that is, that's in full color and stuff. Yeah. All right, I'm yawning, folks. I'm gonna leave you tonight. Please follow us on Kickstarter if you have not already. If you wanna read our short stories, you can find us on Ream. I'm gonna post it again in the chat for you to follow me there. That would be greatly appreciated. What else do I have to respond to? Not really. I've got a lot of stuff behind the scenes going on. Yeah, marketing remains a bitch, of course, always is, but I cannot complain overall about how the series is going. I just gotta increase those sales numbers. That is something I need to do, but who knows? I posted the link to the Kickstarter in the chat as well. I think we are currently on 66, which is okay, but not ideal. Yeah, we're still at 66. I want to get it up to 150 by October. That is end of September, so to speak. So, I mean, we're nearly at 50%, but not enough. So, yeah. Alright, folks, and with that, I'm gonna bid you adieu, and as always, make things your way.